All right, gentlemen, let's have a little fun. Look, we know the teams that made the playoffs. We know the teams that'll have the top 10 picks. I want to kind of talk about the middle teams, the teams that didn't make the playoff, didn't make the cuts. But I ask you and Kenny this simple question, Mike. Is this just a slight setback for this team or a total rebuild? And tell me why. Defend your answer, okay? We start with the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota sitting there at, I believe, 9-8.
Small setback. They bet on a quarterback who wasn't ready, got hurt a little bit. Look, everything else is set. They have a playoff caliber roster, and they have the right coach. So I'll say small setback.
Yeah, I think it's a setback also, just because we don't really know, as much as we make fun of JJ and, you know, the Connor Stallion stuff in Michigan. We really don't know what's going to happen there. So, yeah, I don't think it's anything to completely freak out about.
Okay. Your Dallas Cowboys, 7-9-1.
See, I think they took a step forward. Really? They made a bold trade. They added pieces that make them better for the future, including this pairing of Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. Okay. They have added draft capital. I think they're clearly, they're an organization that's not going to tolerate mediocrity. They fired Eberflus. They're going to have a new DC. I'd love to see Brian Flores down there.
You just want to get rid of him from Minnesota?
If Minnesota's stupid enough to not have an extension on the table for the guy, what do you want me to say? My point is, I don't view it as a step back, much less a rebuild. I felt like the Cowboys took a step forward in their future.
I call it a net even right now. We'll see what a new DC looks like and what they do with that draft capital, but it could very well be what Mike said, a step forward.
All right. AFC, Cincinnati Bengals.
A total rebuild.
6-11.
It's a bleep show. It's a horrible organization. The fact that Zach Taylor's back and you have Jamar Chase in the locker room basically saying, yep, this is who we are. This is our season. Joe Burrow going through his feelings. To me, a year from now, we're going to be talking about Joe Burrow being traded.
Okay.
And you blow your reputation basically by players openly saying we're bad, nobody wants to play here. That's a real problem for this team. So yeah, it's a complete rebuild. Okay.
The Miami Dolphins. Miami 7-10.
The fact that they're going to have to find a way to not play Tua means it's a rebuild. Now, McDaniel is going to help in the selection of the general manager, which is wild to me. But
you're going to help pick the guy who fires you.
I'll say it's a rebuild because there's no way that McDaniel and Tua can continue to work together. There's a conflict.
Or even worse, they're just telling McDaniel he might have more autonomy or as much autonomy as whoever they hire. Either way, I think it's a complete, with the Tua situation by itself, I think it's a complete rebuild.
About the New Orleans Saints, 6-11.
Thought it was a great step forward. Kellen Moore is a real coach. They played for him. The start of the year, the conversation was the Saints will be historically bad. They won 6 games. They won their last, 4 of their last 5. Rico.
They were allowed to have a culture win.
Correct, because they were setting a culture. I thought it was a big step forward for them. Now, again, am I confident moving forward with a 27-year-old quarterback and Tyler Shuck? Not really. But I know I have a coach. I know who my players are. I've developed a baseline. I liked what they did, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's what I would classify it as better than expected. This reminded me of a little bit of the Lions culture building when they were beginning their rebuild.
Sure.
Guys, what about the Kansas City Chiefs?
A dumpster fire. A complete dumpster fire. Andy Reid must really hate free time because if I'm him, I retire. Patrick Mahomes is dead, may not be ready for the start of the year because he hurt his PCL and ACL. Whether Kelsey stays or goes doesn't matter because he's a cadaver. They got to rebuild the whole damn thing.
So total rebuild.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
I don't see a purpose to rushing my gold jacket first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback back when they're not a Super Bowl team next year and they're $58 million over the cap. I think it's a rebuild.
But you said it, though. It's what should happen versus what probably will happen. And what probably will happen, I don't think it's a full-scale rebuild, but I agree with you. It should be.
Okay, I like this. About, you know what? They made a lot of changes today, so I'm going to add
a
them
lot
to
of
the
changes.
list. No, this was, ironically enough, it happened in D.C. The Washington Commanders.
Rebuild. It's the oldest team in the league. Off-injured quarterback. You just blew out both coordinators. The defense has people who starred in the movie Cocoon. It's a rebuild.
Yeah, I don't see any salvaging this one. I'm with Mike on that.
Okay. Let's go down to the ATL. Hot Atlanta. The Atlanta Falcons. 8-9.
This was a step back. Now, I think the pieces are there for them to be better than they are. It's a bad division. The defense has young stars, including Xavier Watts.
Offense does too.
Yes. The quarterback is a problem. One of them is injured. The other one is a mummy.
Well,
it's problematic.
Well, just to update you, they restructured his contract. So basically, come March, they could take the dead cap hit when they release him. So he restructured.
Okay.
This man he just makes money.
I think it was a setback. I don't think it's a complete rebuild in Atlanta.
New quarterback in Atlanta?
No.
Or do you go back to Penix one more year?
Does he have any cartilage left in his knee?
I don't know.
Yeah, this is the opposite for me. This is a setback. This is the opposite of Washington because this is a young team and they were old, injured, and nobodies in Washington.
Yeah.
Here is the exact opposite. You have a young foundation, and when you have a young foundation, you can always build up on that. So I'd say a step back.
Okay. You know what? You're Detroit Lions, 9-8.
It's a setback. I can't call it a rebuild, but they have a retooling that has to take place. But this was a setback. No, I'm not if it were a rebuild, you're talking about massive. I mean, they're gonna have to turn the roster over, but I still believe your quarterback, your skill players, you got high level guys. But no, this was a big step back for them. This is a bad year, but I think they can fix it. I do.
Can I say ask me on Thursday because I tend to lean to where Mike says where you can there's going to be roster turnover, but you can still fix this problem. The question is, are they going to be willing to do that? Because if they're not, then we're talking about something different.
But hypothetically speaking, if they make the changes and bring all of these different people in, isn't that a rebuild? Or we're just going to call it a retool
step back? Yeah,
a retool because that's the PC version of rebuild.
No, rebuild means that you get rid of your quarterback, you find somebody new. That's a complete, tear down to the studs move.
Okay, you know what, Kenny? Fair point. Kenny wins. All right, we got a couple, 3, 8, and 9 teams. We'll start off with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, hot take of the offseason. I would trade Lamar Jackson.
What if you traded Lamar to Atlanta?
I would just be done. I would be out of the Lamar business. He's about to be 29. He is clearly not the player he was 4 or 5 years ago. And I don't want to have an aging Lamar when the athleticism fully leaves. And there's a clear conflict here between him and John Harbaugh. I'm choosing John Harbaugh over Lamar. I would rebuild.
So what would you trade him? Like who could afford the hit, I should say? Who could afford that salary? Yeah,
I'd have to look. You know what? He's always talked about playing in Miami. They're dumb enough to probably do it. The point is, I think Baltimore should blow it up. Okay. They're not a Super Bowl team. They've had how many bites at the apple? They haven't gotten it done. The defense isn't what it was. Your quarterback's not what it was. Your running back's old. I'd rebuild. I think it's a rebuild.
Okay.
This is another of what should and what will. I think, Mike, you're at the end of the day going to be right. This is what they should do. But what will happen is they're going to keep trying to take bites at the apple until there's no more apple.
But, Kenny, if they keep Lamar, they got to let John Harbaugh go.
Oh, I agree. They have to do something.
Because those two are oil and water at this point.
Okay. Let's go with the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, God.
8-9. No draft capital.
Okay. They're stuck. So it's a setback. They can't rebuild, so I can't say rebuild. They need to go sign Malik Willis and try this again. Because they have the stuff. But without first-round picks, and you don't have a quarterback, I'm going to say it's a setback because I don't have the option of the rebuild.
I was going to say, if they were able to have a full blow-it-up rebuild, then yes, that would be the correct answer, but they do not.
So Indianapolis and Minnesota are going to be out in bidding wars for
I think Indianapolis and Minnesota are largely a Spider-Man meme. It's the same thing, and they both got it wrong. Well, Indianapolis got it right, but then Daniel Jones died.
You wait for Daniel Jones to come back?
No. Again, cartilage. None.
Okay. Finally, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 8-9.
Oh, boy. The fact that Todd Bowles kept his job. What a disgrace. Setback. They have talent. They do. But Todd Bowles basically made fun of his own damn team. I leave me alone on this one. I hate Todd Bowles.
That's not an option.
Setback.
See, this is one that I'm not bummed out about it because obviously they'd be a problem for us if we actually had to face them, but I was expecting a lot more from that team. So I'd say it's a setback. I think they have the pieces that you
Had
can
a lot of injuries.
rework around.
Whack.
Well, that's true also.
Yeah,
But
whack.
no,
I don't hear it. Todd Bowles sucks. Ugh. Why would you not have an offensive coach when you have Baker Mayfield and Bucky Irving and that trio of receivers, and you still trot Todd Bowles, who's an alleged defensive wizard, and his defenses never do boola?
Okay, so bonus question then.
Sure.
For you, Mike. Is there anybody, because you said he gives you one good year, Kingsbury can go to that offense and fix it for 1 year?
Tennessee.
Not on the list, but okay.
Get Cam Ward up and running. He played better towards the end of the year. Let's have Kingsbury do for him what he did for Jaden Daniels. Let's get that career jump started.
Okay.
Let's get the answer that this is the guy. All right. Well, he throws a ball you can catch.
All right. That's your Blitz 97.1.